it's Shawnee. Welcome back. So I'm heading over to a friend's house and I figured I would just put on a little makeup. I'm not going to do anything major. I'm actually just going to use some concealer and my Groundwork palette from Danessa Myricks. So I'm just going to hop right in. This is the YSL concealer in the shade DN5. So I'm really just going to spot conceal a little bit where I have some darkness. Alright. And I'm going to blend that out with this Makeup Forever sponge. Just taking it all over, really. Just wanting just to even out my skin a tad. And before I do like under my eyes, I'm going to go in with the Groundwork palette. I'm going to use this shade here, Core. Just gonna rub into the pomade part and use it as a bit of corrector. Alright, and now I'm going to take the YSL concealer in DN1 and just put a bit under my eyes. Let that sit in for a second and start with the brows. I'm going in with this Benefit brow thingy. I could have also used the Groundwork for brows. I always forget that one. And then back in with the Makeup Forever puff and blend this out. Okay, and I'm going to use a bit of powder. This is the NARS Soft Matte Powder. Just going to grab this BK Beauty 102, go into here. This is the shade Offshore, and just brush a little bit of powder on. And I'm going to use this brush. Going back into the Groundwork palette, I am going to use the shade Harvest as a bit of bronzer and maybe a bit of Bark as contour. Okay. Going to use this Sonia G Classic Base brush. Going into Harvest for the bronzer. To me, this shade is very similar to the Blurring Balm shade 10. And then Bark is it 11 or 12? Shade 11. So that's more of a contour shade for me. That's actually the deepest shade in her blurring bombs, if I remember correctly. All right. And I just want to blend that out a little bit. So we'll go back with the 102 from BK Beauty. So we're going to set my brows. Now time for an eye look. Gonna stick with the Groundwork. Let's use the powder parts of the Bark and Harvest. So I'm just taking this Blend Bunny B5 brush. This is going to be a very light look, especially since I'm not putting any primer on. Something light and simple. Then I'm going to go into the shade Core, which is that shade I used for color correcting. Since the Blend Bunny brushes are a little bit smaller in terms of the bristles, the brush head, these feel like pretty good to use with this palette, since you definitely do need some smaller tools for it, given that the pans are small. Okay, now I'm going to take one of my Danessa Myricks blushes. Let's go with Jubilee. And this is her Yummy Face 1.0 brush, and let's put a bit of that on. Gonna grab a liner from LA Girl. I could have also used the Groundwork for this too. Oh. Mascara. This is the Huda Beauty One Coat. I believe there's only one shade, the black shade. And then back into Groundwork. And taking this Sydney Grace brush, I'm going into the shade Tourmaline into the pomade part. Doing a bit of a wing. And then I think I'll go into Harvest and there we go. I'm gonna go over with my Dior Backstage powder, set everything a bit more, blend things out. So I've got a little bit of coverage, a little bit of color. How do I want to do my hair? I think I'm gonna keep it up, at least half up. There we go. Gonna spritz on some smell good stuff and head on out. So hopefully some of this was helpful. I also hope that you're continuing to take care of yourself. Let me know if you have this palette and if you have been using it. Again, I've been really enjoying it. You can see I've been getting use out of it, some usage there. And leave me a comment. I would love it if you liked the video. I would love it even more if you subscribe to the channel. And also, I forgot to say, I hope you are taking care of yourself. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.